Ever feel like you're becoming an expert in air pollution? We live and breathe it virtually every day. But when people start talking about PM 2.5s, AQIs and micrograms per cubic meters, it can all get a bit baffling. So here's how to understand all that air pollution jargon. Air pollution is made up of various different pollutants, each with their own sources and their own impacts on our health. Ozone, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide can all cause us serious problems. But the biggest air pollutant, affecting more people than any other, is particulate matter, or PM for short. Particulate matter is tiny, tiny stuff. A complex mixture of liquid and solid particles like acids, organic chemicals, metals, and soil or dust particles. And it can come from industry, transport, power generation, and agriculture. We can't actually see it with the naked eye because it is microscopically small. Even the coarsest particulate matter measured is about 9 times smaller than a single grain of fine sand. Some particulate matter can be even smaller, less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter, or about 3% of the width of a human hair. These are our PM 2.5s. It's precisely because of their minuscule size, and because there's often so much of it, that it gets through our normal bodily defenses. These particles find their way into our lungs, and even into our blood, causing serious problems from respiratory infections and heart disease to lung cancer and early death. No amount of exposure to these pollutants is good for our health, but the more we inhale, the greater the risks. Scientists therefore monitor the level of pollutants in the air using specialist measuring equipment. Their unit of measurement for each pollution is micrograms, that's 1/1,000,000th of a gram, per cubic meter. But for most of us mere mortals, they might as well be talking high Valerian. So, governments have come up with a way of making this more understandable to you and me. Air quality indexes, or AQIs, are used to display these complex scientific measurements in a simple, color-coded format, often complete with smiley, or not-so-smiley faces, and a 1 or 2 word summary. But the trouble is, there isn't just one single AQI. In Kosovo, the information displayed on most websites and apps uses the American AQI, which has a distinctive color scheme, categories, and health warnings. It also includes a unitless number from 0 to more than 300. But the government of Kosovo uses its own system for visualizing pollution levels, with different colors and different categories. This provides more categories for lower levels of pollution, but less differentiation when the levels get higher. This means that exactly the same level of pollution can be displayed differently in different places. For example, the Kosovo government categorizes anything more than 50 micrograms per meters cubed as very poor, whereas those using the American AQI define it as anything from unhealthy for sensitive groups, or unhealthy, to very unhealthy, or even hazardous, depending on the precise level of the pollution. Ultimately, if the reading says anything other than good on either scale, pollution levels are higher than the annual average guidelines set by the World Health Organization. And remember, pollution levels can vary dramatically from neighborhood to neighborhood, and even street to street. The US Embassy, one of the most prominent recorders of air quality information in Kosovo, takes its readings at their embassy site in Prishtine's Arboria neighborhood, whereas the information showed on digital displays around ministries around the capital all comes from readings taken at the Rilinja government building. So, while you may be seeing the most up-to-date info, it might not actually reflect the situation exactly where you're viewing it.